Today we dive into 3 gut-wrenching betrayals: a sister's betrayal, a stranger's kindness, and a hospital shock that broke a marriage wide open. The moment my sister stepped out of the driveway, my husband's eyes widened, his face crumpled, and tears streamed down his cheeks. I had just demanded she come over, clutching my baby's bag, when the car halted. As the door opened, the silence exploded into a raw confession: they had been sleeping together for months, right in our own bedroom. The shock knocked the wind out of me, and the world spun on an axis of betrayal I could not comprehend. I married my husband 3 years after we met, built a life together, and welcomed our daughter. He was the steady partner who promised forever, and I raised my sister while caring for my own child. Our home felt safe, our routines predictable, and every family holiday seemed to reinforce the bond we shared. I never imagined that the man I trusted could betray not only me but also the sister I had protected since childhood. Over the last year, my husband grew distant, often returning home late with vague excuses about work. He hid his phone, silenced notifications, and suddenly enjoyed girls' night with my sister, claiming they needed sisterly bonding. I dismissed his secretive texts as harmless jokes and ignored the uneasy feeling that something was off. The worst sign was the empty space in our bed. I thought it was just stress, not a silent warning of an affair lurking behind closed doors. When I finally called my aunt for a safe place to stay, I texted my sister to come over. Within 15 minutes, my sister arrived, the house smelled of baby formula, and my husband's expression shifted from confusion to panic. I forced them to display the incriminating chat screenshots, demanding explanations. Both broke down, apologizing repeatedly, but the damage was irreversible. Their tears felt like knives, confirming that the betrayal had been a calculated, months-long deception hidden behind familial love. I filed for divorce the next morning, packed my daughter's things, and left the toxic home behind. The court granted me full custody, and I began therapy to rebuild my self-worth. My sister begged for forgiveness, but I set firm boundaries, focusing on my child's stability. Today I watch my daughter grow, surrounded by supportive friends, and I've learned that even the deepest wounds can become foundations for a stronger, independent future. From familial betrayal, we transition to a quiet park bench where an unexpected stranger offered comfort during heartbreak. On my anniversary, after discovering my husband's affair with his office partner, I fled to the park for a run. Mid-stride, sobs overtook my breath, and I ducked behind a tree, trembling. An older woman, noticing my distress, sat just 10 feet away and simply asked, "Are you okay?" She offered to stay silent, a gentle presence that let my tears flow without judgment. In that quiet companionship, I felt seen, even though no words were exchanged. I had been married to my husband for 8 years, sharing a home, a career, and plans for a future together. He was my confidant, the person I trusted with my deepest hopes. When his affair surfaced, it shattered the image of the life we had built. The anniversary, once a celebration of love, became a painful reminder of broken vows, leaving me questioning everything I once believed about partnership and loyalty. Months before the revelation, my husband's phone buzzed more often, his passwords changed, and he began taking late meetings that never seemed to end. He stopped sharing details about his day, and his affection waned, replaced by brief, distracted greetings. I brushed off my gut feeling, attributing it to stress, and ignored the growing list of unanswered texts. The final sign arrived when he casually mentioned a coworker's name, a name I later saw repeatedly in his messages. The truth hit me when a friend accidentally forwarded an email thread between my husband and his office partner, filled with flirtatious remarks and plans to meet after work. My heart stopped as I read the lines, each word a dagger. The betrayal felt like a tidal wave, pulling me under as I struggled to breathe. I confronted him that night, he confessed, tears falling, but the damage to my trust was already irreparable. After the confrontation, I filed for separation and sought therapy to process the grief. The stranger's quiet comfort in the park reminded me that kindness still exists. I began volunteering at a local shelter, channeling my pain into helping others. Months later, I'm rebuilding my life, learning to trust my instincts, and embracing the possibility of love again, only this time, on my own terms, with eyes wide open. Leaving the park, we now uncover a hospital nightmare that exposed an affair and a hidden pregnancy. I drove home from a business trip, heart racing, when my sister-in-law's frantic voice whispered, she's in the hospital. The police officer on scene pointed to my wife, bruised and unconscious, her face a canvas of trauma. A doctor then told me she was pregnant. In that sterile room, the sister-in-law confessed that my wife had been meeting an ex-boyfriend, an emotional affair that turned physical just weeks before the assault. My world collapsed in that moment. My wife and I met in our 20s, married after a few years, and built a home together. We welcomed a son, bought a house with my inheritance, and planted a peach tree symbolizing new beginnings. She had survived a past abusive relationship, and I believed my support helped her heal. Our life seemed stable, careers flourishing, children laughing, and shared dreams of the future. I never imagined the trust we cultivated could be shattered by an old flame. In the months before the hospital incident, my wife grew quieter, clung to her phone, and started spending nights at her sister's house under the excuse of girl time. She avoided intimacy, citing fatigue, and brushed off my concerns with vague reassurances. Her mood swung dramatically, and she began hiding receipts and deleting messages. I noticed a lingering scent of another's cologne on her clothes, but I convinced myself it was just a friend's perfume. The police officer, a friend of my sister-in-law, arrived at the hospital and calmly explained the assault. He revealed that the man my wife had been seeing was her ex-boyfriend, who had manipulated her into meeting again. The officer's words painted a picture of emotional manipulation turned violent, leading to her injuries. The shock of learning that my wife had betrayed our marriage while already pregnant left me numb, as the reality of her deception crashed over me like a wave. I filed for divorce, secured full custody of our son, and cut all ties with my ex-wife. Therapy helped me process the grief and anger, and I now focus on co-parenting peacefully. My sister-in-law and I rebuilt our relationship on honesty, and the peach tree we planted continues to bloom, reminding me that new growth can emerge from broken soil. Today I am hopeful, stronger, and ready to love again when the time feels right. Betrayal cuts deep, but each story shows that healing and strength are possible. Remember, you deserve honesty and respect. What would you have done in their shoes? Drop your thoughts below.